Now, Central Oregon's local alert weather with Eric Oren.
Hello, friends and Central Oregonians. Happy Thursday. It's almost the end of the week, which means I'm almost ready to dance, but not quite yet. Here's a look at where we're at this morning, temperature-wise, across the region. We're in the 40s for the most part, a little chillier in the southern part of Deschutes County there in the 30s. We're going to get very chilly tonight as well, but we'll warm up a little bit today. Here's a look at your school bus stop forecast. If you're headed into school this morning, it's going to be a fairly chilly day today. We're going to top out in the low 50s, but as you're heading in this morning, it should be somewhere in the 40-degree range, and the rain showers shouldn't pick up until probably closer to lunchtime, but I would bring a rain jacket with you to school for those afternoon recess play times, because again, it may get a little bit rainy, and we certainly don't want anyone to miss out on the fun. Some weather headlines to keep in mind. Showers are very likely today, as I mentioned to you. It's going to start sometime around lunch and stick with us through the afternoon. We do have some noticeable winds picking up sometime mid-morning today, and a chilly night ahead as some areas are getting down below the freezing threshold. We're starting to see some very, very cool temperatures overnight. Now, here's a look at this low pressure system that's parked over the corner of the state here, and it's wrapping some moisture into our area here. As of early this morning, we're seeing a lot of cloud cover, but you can see that precipitation's not far off of Central Oregon, and we definitely will see some just a little bit later. Here's a look at the big picture as this low pressure system we were looking at moves down overhead today. We're going to stay very chilly and rainy, but then it's going to move out to the east of us on Friday, and that should bring in a slightly drier and warmer flow at least until the early part of next week. Now, how much rainfall will we actually see over the next 24 hours or so? Originally, we were thinking it's going to be closer to about a quarter inch, but it does look like we're going to be slightly less than that, although we'll take whatever we can get. Now, I mentioned the winds are going to pick up a little earlier than we've seen today. Here's around 9 a.m., and we're already getting close to around 20-mile-an-hour wind gusts, which is a bit earlier than we've been seeing. Winds usually picking up closer to around this time, which is around 2 o'clock. You can see we're up over the 20 to 25-mile-an-hour gust range, and it's going to stay that way on through the afternoon. And around midnight, you can see here, this is when the wind usually dies down, but we're still experiencing 10, 15-mile-an-hour wind gusts pretty much throughout the day and into the early morning hours. So wind should be a bit of a factor today. Now, we are experiencing our first bit of cold weather this year. Definitely something to keep in mind if you're outdoor recreating, especially in those higher elevations. Make sure you bring plenty of layers. We may even see a mix of snow and rain in some of those higher elevations over 6,500 feet, although because the ground isn't quite frozen yet, that probably will melt almost immediately. Let's take a look at the highs across the state today. The 50-degree range in our area and to the east of us, and a little bit warmer on the coast there and to our north in the 60s and 70s. But generally speaking, we are feeling a lot more fall-like as we look at the highs in our direct area in the 50s and 60s. Warmest out of Warm Springs, as we typically see, at around 68. Lows are getting very, very chilly. Down here in La Pine, we're looking at 26 degrees, and of course below freezing there in Sun River as well. Definitely bring in any hanging ornamental patio garden plants, anything like that that you may have. And here's a smiley. He's getting a little chilly because he didn't layer up today, and he might need to do that. And as we take a look at the drier conditions coming our way this weekend, before we see potential precipitation early next week, overnight lows staying somewhere in the 30s and 40s in general. That's been a look at your local alert weather. Now let's head back to the desk.
All right. Thank you, Eric.